with me, Jonathan Lewis. I have to do this every time I go live on here because YouTube does not give me any time to do anything. You're just live. So, and unfortunately, there's nobody on here yet. So I am just going to talk to nobody for a few seconds like I normally do. But welcome. If you're on here for the first time, if you're watching this as a repeat, my name is Jonathan Lewis. I am a psychic medium. I've been doing this work for quite some time now. And I've been on TikTok a lot. And I'm now going to go live on YouTube a little bit more often. So, and people are jumping on. This is great. Okay, cool. Hey guys, I guess you guys are getting notified. I was gonna go live on TikTok tonight, but it's the algorithm's all whacked out. I couldn't even get on my actual app. So my guys were like, "Well, you don't have the night off, so we're here on YouTube." I'm glad I caught you too, Terry. How are you? Hey, Tommy. Hey, Amazon. Carlos. How's everybody doing tonight? We made it through the big storm. It wasn't so bad, actually. I actually made a funny video, but I went to go put it up on TikTok and it won't upload, so I have to wait till tomorrow. Yeah, if you're getting the same thing on TikTok, apparently the algorithm's way off. So according to Reddit, there's a lot of people that cannot upload. That's all. And then I logged out and now I can't log back in. It won't let me. So I have to wait a little while. Hey, Tam. You don't do TikTok? You're glad you caught me here. That's cool. I appreciate you saying that. I want to be on here more often, actually. And guys, I'm letting you know ahead of time. We're probably gonna get some people in here that don't say nice things about either what we're doing here or whatever. Just ignore it. I'm gonna try to block them as I go, but don't let it bother you. Thank you, Lainey. Your girls are on Long Island? S done? That's cool. It's not that bad. I mean, we got probably 10 inches. My parents got about 12. My son and I looked out the window and went like, yeah, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. I was gonna go out late tonight because I have a machine. I have a skid steer with tracks. So I was gonna jump on that and like clear the driveway, but it has to be above a certain temperature or else it gives me a problem. So I'm just gonna play it safe and wait till tomorrow. It's supposed to be like 30, 31 degrees, and then I'll clear the driveway. But it looks like it stopped. Yeah, the trolls were bad the other night. The trolls were definitely bad the other night. It was like bombarded. And I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. It didn't bother me that they were picking on the work. It didn't. They were calling me like Satan. They were saying like, I get my information from Satan, or I belong in hell, or whatever. They were talking about, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit, right? That stuff didn't bother me. But then they were picking on my appearance. That threw me. That threw me. They thought I colored my beard or something. I was like, what do you mean I color? I don't color my beard. And I just started to laugh. And I was telling my son after, I'm like, it didn't bother me that they were picking on my job or my work or anything like that. It bothered me when they went after me personally because I'm not used to that. I'm usually used to everybody making fun of the work or picking on the work, which doesn't bother me because we always show that it's real, right? We always show that. So, but it was really funny. I had this moment of like, wow, my ego got in the way there for a second. But some guy was going after me and I was like, damn. It was funny. But anyway, so you guys, listen, I'm not doing anything. So I just figured I'd go live on here. Hey, welcome to Melanie from Australia. Very cool. Welcome. Yeah, if you're just getting on here now for the first time or you're watching me, I don't know how this works. But by all means, give me a follow, or here I should say subscribe. Just subscribe. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight. We're going to talk about a few things, metaphysical. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. How are you guys doing anyway? How's everybody doing? I know the energy's a little low right now, but that's okay. I mean, it's not okay what's happening, but it's okay that the energy's low. You're allowed. So who's the furthest south on here with a low temperature? Like who's the most southern person on this live right now that's like got a low temperature that lower than normal? Okay, you're in Florida. What's the temp though? 75? S done is 521's in Florida. A lot of you are bragging that you're in Florida. Okay. Give me, who's in a place right now that they would consider normally warm weather, but it's super cold. South Carolina, 33 degrees. Mama Mandu. That's pretty cold for South Carolina. Texas, 37 and dropping. Yep. Forget about Chicago. You guys, forget about it. Chicago's way up north anyway. But you guys, sorry what you're going through. North Carolina, 31. Nashville, Tennessee. What's the temp, though? Somebody's in Europe, -6 degrees. That's crazy. 110 yesterday in Sydney. That's Celsius, though, right, Melanie? You guys do things in Celsius, which I cannot convert. I'm not that good. Yeah, right, Rach? Hey, Rach. Yeah, 30 degrees, South Carolina. All right, cool. Anyway, I don't even know what to talk about tonight. I just thought I would go live. I want to, and again, I don't know if Sunday nights are going to be my nights to go live here. I was thinking Monday nights, but we'll see how it plays out. But I appreciate you, giving the hearts. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you. If you didn't subscribe yet, please subscribe to my channel. I would like to go live here more often. I'm going to figure out how to work this channel the right way. So I might even give heads up, meaning like, I might plan the live ahead of time so everybody knows about it. But what I'd like to do is have people come to a place where we could just talk and do Q&A around metaphysics. And I would like to read somebody in the comment section, of course, like I normally would do. I want to start saying less. That's my resolution, start saying less. Hey, Jackie. Happy to see you too. Hey, Catherine. So again, if you're coming on here for the first time, welcome. My name is Jonathan Lewis. I am a psychic medium. We could talk about anything metaphysical. I've been doing this work for quite some time now. And I like to keep things very, very grounded. That's the one thing I want to say. I keep it very grounded. I'm not into the woo-woo stuff. As you notice, there's not like, mystical music playing in the background or, I don't have like dowsing rods or pendulums or any of that crap. I can say whatever I want here, right? So everything that we talk about is going to be in a way where you can apply it in your own life, okay? That's how I like to do things. That's how I like to talk about the work, so that when you walk away from here, you go like, okay, that makes sense. I can do this, A, B, C, or D, all right? The storm's not bad, Katie. I didn't think it was that bad. I was ready for, crazy blizzard. But in my area, not that bad. My parents got a little bit more than I did. Okay. All right, we already got a couple of trolls in here. That's all right. Okay, so Mama Mandu 33, so glad you said pendulums. What's your thought on them? I don't really have a thought on them. Listen, they're a tool. Anything that you use can technically be a tool. It doesn't have to be something that's deemed as spiritual. And I always tell people, like, if you're going to use a pendulum, you might as well use a quarter. You can use a quarter to do, yes or no's or, heads or tails and things like that. So there's nothing mystical about a pendulum. There's nothing mystical about those kind of things. Dowsing rods are actually real, okay? And when I talk about that, originally they were used to find water. So people would use dowsing rods, or they would use a stick, three-sided stick. My father would do that when I was younger, because we built houses. And when I was younger, they would able to find water by using the dowsing sticks. Now, I can't remember if it was my dad that did it, or he was telling me the story about his dad doing it, or his uncle, but I know that's possible, where you can actually find water with basically a three-sided stick. But same terminology used with dowsing rods, which was like yes, no answers, depending on which way they turn, which is fine. But when it comes to mediumship, which is what I do, you shouldn't be using tools like that, okay? There's no reason for it. Let's see. Hate spear. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of people. There we go. Okay. Okay, so Melanie Stadler, please tell me you've gone around the edges, but not specifically regarding haunted places. I am with you on everything you said or say, but this one I can't seem to agree with you on. I need more info. Okay, so when we talk about haunted, let's just break it down. Okay, just take a few minutes and break it down. We are programmed to be scared of scary places. We are programmed to be scared of the dark. That's how it works. That's how they get us in the movies. That's how they get us on everything that we do. We're programmed as kids to be afraid of certain things. Nobody's afraid of being on the beach on a sunny day. Nobody's looking over their shoulder to see what's around, right? But if you're in your house at night and you hear something a little creepy and it's late and there's nobody else around you, you're gonna look over your shoulder. You're gonna like, what is that? So it's automatically like, oh, we're automatically programmed for that. We all watch horror movies. We all watch scary stuff, right? We know it's in our heads, it's in our brains, it's how it works. But when it comes to the reality of it, the reality comes from what energy you give it. So if we're always talking about energy and we're talking about how to apply your energy for positive. If you want to talk about manifestation, right? We'd say, well, think positive, put your energy in the right place. You'll manifest what you want. Well, if you can manifest the positive, why can't you manifest the negative? So if you put your energy into something in a negative way, meaning fearful, that automatically becomes fearful for you. It's just automatic. And then energies can play on that. They can play on that because once you come from a place of fear, you now allow, let's just call it more negative energy to get in or use your power or your personal energy for what they want, meaning like they can siphon it. Okay, so I don't believe in people being stuck here. And that's what we usually apply ghosts to or grounded spirits, right? We say they can't leave. I don't believe that. Do I believe in negative energy? Yes, I do believe negative energy exists on the other side. And I do believe it's used here to either keep people in a place where it's negative for them or not positive or a place where they can't seem to get out of where they're at. And I always say, if you drop your walls, if you drop your guard, if you lower your vibration, that allows the negative in. Now, does that mean you're gonna like end up on a ceiling, and being dragged across your room? No, it just means that when your guard is down, when your energy's low, it allows stuff in. That's all. And when that energy comes in, it can play with you. It can kind of get you to feel a certain way, get you to feel down about things. That's what it really does. It can't like pick you up and throw you across the room, okay? So, and again, without getting too deep into it, because I could do a whole hour on this. I really could. I could do a whole hour on this. Just know that when you're low, when your energy's low, other things can get in. And when I say other things, I mean negative energy, okay? It does exist, it is real. You can't have positive without the negative. You have to. It's just much easier for the negative to do what it needs to do. There's a medium that I've known for many, many years, Shar Margolis, and she has a great line where she says, it only takes one coat of black to cover a wall, but it takes 5 coats of white to cover the black. So unfortunately, if you're coming from the right place and you're working for the right things and you're working for the positive, it's going to take a lot more effort. It's very easy to be dark. It's very easy to be a negative person. Like the trolls that are on here. It's very easy to do that. It's very easy to go like, heh, heh, heh. But it's very, very difficult and hard to actually come from a place of positive and say, hey, wait a minute. Let me see what this is about before I start beating on it. Let me see what this is all, what's going on here before I start tearing it apart. Because that's what an intelligent, mature person would do. So be it, right? Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're in here. Let's do it. Stephanie, 6995. Hi, Jonathan. Long story short, I felt 3 knocks. I'm certain I did not hear anything. I felt the knocking, and that caused me to look up and see danger coming my way. It was a warning. What is that? Well, if you're going to define it as a warning, then it will now become a warning for you. So you might hear 3 knocks in other times of your life, in other places. Remember, we designate our symbols and signs. When people ask me, why can't I connect with my mom? I'll say, well, do you have any symbols for her or anything like that? Well, I'm waiting for her to show me one. I'm like, all right, we just walking around waiting for something to land in front of you and be like, that's my mother? That's a symbol. So you have to designate your symbols and signs. You have to let them know, I am now using this. And then they can start using it. If you see a number a particular number, like 3 times in one day, it might catch your attention, right? You'll say, wait a minute, why am I seeing that number again? It's got to mean something. And then you'll eventually say, well, maybe I want to put it here. Could that be my mother? Could that be my dad? Now, that's your way of saying to the universe, like, I am now using that for my mom. And then when you see it, you'll automatically connect it with your mom. That's how those symbols work. So when you hear 3 knocks and you're saying it's a warning, I heard 3 knocks, I felt it, but I didn't hear it. I felt it. To me, it's a warning. That could be your guides doing that. Doesn't have to be scary. Doesn't have to be negative. It's just your guides letting you know, like, hey, we're giving you 3 knocks. And then in an intuitive way, you kind of picked on what those knocks are. That's all you did. That's what we do. That's what everybody that does this work does. You pick up on stuff and you go, wait a minute, where can I put that? Where does it apply? So from now on moving forward, those 3 knocks, when you get them, is their way of warning you that something might be coming up. It doesn't have to be doom and gloom. It just means something's coming up. Be ready for it, okay? How do you get rid of people? Okay, that's how we do it, okay. I am probably going to get a couple of moderators just to get rid of the dark energy that's on here when I go live. So, okay. Well, I'm figuring out how to get rid of them faster, so that's good. Hey, Leslie. And again, I want to be really clear. What they're saying does not bother me. It just disrupts the live. That's the problem I'm having with it. Because when you get things moving and you start getting into the groove of the energy, just like when you do a reading, and that energy is designed to throw you off balance. That's what it's for. You know what? Just not Jessica, LOL. If you're going to, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. If you're going to be on YouTube, you should be able to accept doubters. Oh, I totally accept doubters. Doubters are not an issue. I've always said you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say, like, I don't believe in this, but you don't have to watch either. You can go somewhere else. So I have no problem with that. And I have no problem with doubters. It's when people get rude, that's all. And that's what happens, unfortunately. I don't mind skepticism. And if you guys have watched me on YouTube, on TikTok, I always go live and I always do readings on there. I have no problem doing it. I do random people all the time. You know how we know they're random? I bet I have the highest count of people sleeping when I actually bring them up live. So they're literally sleeping. They put me on and they just wait and then they fall asleep and then I pull them up on the live to read them and then they're, right? So I guarantee you, not everybody has that many people falling asleep on them when they go on live. So again, I have no problem with skepticism. It's the cynicism that's an issue. That's it. I'm actually explaining for the people that follow. I'm not explaining for the people that are having the issue. Well, that's nice, Catherine. I agree with you. Yes, I'm going to read somebody tonight. My guides told me I have to read tonight, so. CC Carlos, I'll admit I fell asleep a few. Yeah, everybody does. I told you the other night when I was on here, I said that I was like, oh, wow, how do I pick out of 99 people on TikTok? Because in the queue, you pick somebody, right? And out of 99 people, how do I always pick the one that's sleeping? And they kind of laughed at me and they said, like, they're probably half of them are sleeping. You just happen to pick, one of the 50. So I was like, oh, thanks. Thanks for that one. When I do a reading on here, here's how I'm going to do it. And this is why it might be a little difficult, but I'm going to do it anyway. When the time comes, I'm not doing it at the moment. I'm going to do a few more questions, get into a couple things, and then I'll do a reading. Whoever you want to connect with, I just need you to put the name, not the name, the connection, like mom, dad, daughter, son, nephew, something like that. When the time comes, I'm going to explain this again right before I read, but in case you're on here and you're watching, that's what I need. That's it. And it's only for time purposes because we're doing this. When I'm doing a private, I won't ask you for squat. I will just go into the reading. Whoever shows up, shows up. But what I like to do on social media is kind of cut to the chase. If you want to talk to mom, let's ask mom to come forward. How are we going to know it's mom? We're going to know it's mom because she's going to be giving me information that you can validate. It's that simple. I'm not going to talk about how nice she is. I'm not going to talk about her standing behind you, stroking your hair and telling you that she loves and misses you. That is not mediumship. That is not factual information. That is emotional manipulation. And that is what most people have an issue with around this work, is the emotional manipulation. If I do get something factual that makes sense for you, and a lot of times when you watch other people do this work, they'll get the one fact and then they'll just dump a bunch of feelings and emotions on somebody. That's not reading. That's emotional manipulation, okay? I know people want to hear about how much their parents love them or how much their sister loved them when they, before they passed. I get that. I can promise you that they do love you. So there's no point in me saying that. There's no point in me saying that. I don't skip around those things. You're not going to hear about hummingbirds. You're not going to hear about cardinals. You're not going to hear about anything around change or money falling on the floor. I'm not going there. I like the information that cannot be like obvious or things that we have to think about a little bit. And sometimes when I'm reading somebody, and you'll watch it on my posts, I'll say something. Matter of fact, I have a post to put up on a reading I did last week, but I can't put it up because for something's going on with TikTok. But I'll bring it up. They'll have no idea what I'm talking about. And then I'll bring it around again because I'm feeling like, no, there's something here. And then we finally get to what it is. And then they realize, oh my God, I just realized, boom, 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 boom. So it's kind of a way of saying, it's validating that the information is accurate because we're not giving up on it. If they don't let me give up, I don't give up. It's like, I'll feel this, like keep pushing, keep pushing. If I feel like I need to abandon what we're talking about, it could be because I'm either interpreting it wrong or the person I'm reading in the moment is just not going to get it. So I'll tell them, just write it down and hopefully it'll make sense tomorrow. Okay? All right, let's do a couple of questions and then I'm going to get into a reading. Okay, so one, you first know, you I actually get excited when somebody's sleeping. It's great content. It really is. So we got 132 people on here tonight. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's just do a couple of questions. I want to do something a little different. Yeah, I agree, Carlos. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Mr. Ona. I'm sorry if I'm screwing that up. Wow, I've lately been frustrated with another person I was following. She would never answer people's questions straight up after I got really frustrated with her. Yeah, I don't like beating. Here's just the reality of it. If you believe in what you do, give straight up answers. Just give stuff. And like if I'm not able to read somebody, I'll just say I can't read you. I don't drag it out. I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to share the information that's coming through. If I feel this kind of energy from somebody, I'm not going to bother. Because you don't go to a reading, guys, or don't book a reading with somebody if you're not open to the subject matter. If you're closed off and you're saying, I want them to prove to me they can do this, that's the wrong attitude to go in with. And I'm not saying that you have to be like, yeah, everything's great, it's perfect, it all fits. I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying is go with an open mind. You have to go into this work with an open mind. Why? Because it's all about energy. And if your energy is shut down and the doors are closed, guess what? Nothing happens. It just doesn't flow. It's like, I will tell people, it's like walking through molasses. So if you're going for a reading with somebody, stay open. Kind of acknowledge information as it's coming through. Try to make sure you're getting where it needs to go. But if it feels like they're just grasping, end it. Be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Now, if they're a legitimate medium, they will stop the reading. They will give you your money back, and that's it. They'll call it a day. And that's the way it should be done. Healing Living. My friend said you read her and you were spot on. She is still amazed. Cool. I appreciate the feedback. Okay, so Soul G90, do you believe in dream symbols like a snake, meaning someone is being a snake around you, etc.? Yeah, Dream interpretation is not my strong point. I know Andy Ray is phenomenal with dream interpretation. Not my thing. But I will tell you this, your symbols are your symbols. So when you're reading a book and they're telling you what a snake means, they're basically programming you for what that means. So when you see a snake, you can use it that way. Again, no different than when you pick symbols and signs for your family on the other side. No different. If I say from now on, when I see a blue container, that's going to represent my mom. And then I see a blue container, I have to acknowledge it. I have to go like, that's my mom. She's saying hi. That's all. It keeps things moving, okay? But your dreams are your dreams. Your symbols are your symbols. You know, you can't call somebody up and go like, hey, what does it mean when you see this? And then they're going to go like, I don't know. What does it mean when you see it? It's your symbol. You have to figure out what they mean for you. Everybody is different on how they look at stuff, and everybody has different ways of seeing things and interpreting things. That's what makes the work kind of cool. Not everybody uses all the same stuff. They'll talk the same way because they're all watching somebody do it. And if somebody's very, very popular, they will copy that. That's just the way people work, right? Oh, they're getting a lot of views. I'm gonna say what they say, or they're getting a lot of traction. Or you know what? They make a lot of sense. I'm gonna start doing what they're doing. And that's how we get people being the same around the work. But technically, those are more copycats than anything else. Okay, I'm going to answer this because I can do this generally. So Sunsea936, hi Jonathan, who are my protectors against dark entities? You are the best protector against dark entity. We all have our guides. Our guides protect us. Our guides help us down the line of things. But I will be honest with you. I've seen plenty of times where my guides stand to the side and dark energy will come in. Dark energies, you will do what it's got to do. And when I say dark, be really clear. They're not doing anything like, they're just, it's a downward energy. It's a very low vibrational energy that can get in. But it's my job to recognize that and go, nope, no place for you here. You can verbally, literally say, get the F out. I don't want you here. That's why when I'm doing a group and somebody has to stand up and say, you know, I just want to say like my house is haunted and I don't know why, and these energies are always in there, blah, blah, blah. What they're really saying is, I want to tell the group here that I'm experiencing something really cool and phenomenal. And even though I want that energy, it scares me a little bit, I don't want it to leave. That's what they're really saying. I don't want it to leave because I want to be able to talk about it. I want to say how scary it is. Because if you want something to go away, it has to go away. You rule your mind and your energy on this planet. If you're feeling dark energy around you, tell it to go F off. That's it. It can't stay around. Okay. Thank you. Somebody just said I like the decor. Yes, it's very lovely. It's a blue and white. I tell you, on TikTok, it really lights up. Here, it's like a little dull, but on TikTok, it really goes boom. But we'll get used to it, right, guys? Okay, we're up to 138 people. That's cool. And again, I appreciate you being here tonight. Again, I want to, like I said, go on here more often. I want to go live here. It's very comfortable here. Even with all the nasty people. Even with all the nasty people, I'm more comfortable here than TikTok. Because, like I said, here people stay on, and TikTok, it kind of feels like this. Like the energy's in and it's out. Because when you look at your analytics after, say you got 500-600 people, sometimes I have 700-800 people on there. That's not 700 people. When I look at the analytics, it's 43,000 or 43,000 clicks or whatever. It's almost like people are in and out constantly. It just says an average of. So that means that when somebody's in, they're out 3 minutes later or less. I feel like the retention in here is better. So people stay on longer. Yeah, TikTok gets a little crazy. Okay, so Laney1525. I love the fact when you are live that you don't go live with other platforms at the same time. Drives me crazy. Yeah, I'm not into that. Sometimes I watch, like on TikTok especially, there'll be like 5 or 6 people in the field. And, you know, some people just be sitting there going like this, and other people talk, and they're eating, or they're having like this whole conversation, but they're talking about, that's like a vanity thing. Let's all get together and talk about our stuff. Nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. They want to know what they can get from it, right? When you see people talking, unless they're actually talking about something that's useful, who wants to watch that? I don't know why they don't catch on to that. They just do it anyway. It's like, well, it's Friday night. Let's all hang out and talk about our own stuff. And everybody watching is going like, I don't really give a shit. This is boring. Like, do something. Give me some information I can use. So for me, again, there's only a couple people on this planet that I would actually do a live with when the time comes. But right now, it's just me. You're welcome. Sea Light Production. Thank you for explaining everything in detail. I know there's people that can explain things better than me. I know there's people that are very philosophical and they have a lot of information. They hold on to a lot of information. I am not that person. I am very basic. I am very straightforward. I look at it, I call it for what it is, and then I move on. So for me, it's 1 + 1 = 2. Boom. So yeah, when you want straight up, no BS stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people that talk, they're just all full of philosophy on here, especially on TikTok. They're all full, but you don't see them read ever. I just don't understand that part. How do you claim to be a medium, but you don't read? You don't post your readings. You just talk about it, constantly talk about it. Well, I appreciate that. I can't say your name or else I'd say thank you. I can't read it. I don't know what that says. Is it possible to want to hear from a loved one really bad? Sure. Danico, is it possible to want to hear from a loved one really bad? Of course it is. Of course it's possible. Who doesn't want to connect with their loved ones again? Ever. I'm not gonna, well, I can't answer this question because I didn't do a reading yet. But yes, it's human nature to want to be with somebody that you've lost. It's human nature. It's who we are. We live in the physical. And because we live in the physical, we have to touch things. We have to feel things. We have to have conversations. We have to hear things. That's all physical stuff. That's human, okay? When we pass, they're no longer human. That's why we have so much trouble connecting with them. It's like things aren't meshing. It doesn't mesh because we have to learn a new way of connecting, a new way of communicating. If I were to take you right now, I'm assuming most of us here are from the US, we speak English, but let's just say I put you on a helicopter and I blindfolded you and I dropped you off at some remote place where they speak a completely different language. How would you start communicating with those people? Who wants to give me that answer? How would you start communicating with them? Signs, sign language, exactly. You would start talking like, I need to walk to the place and get a phone. Like you would start talking like that, right? Well, that's no different than how we talk with people on the other side. It's through symbolism. They'll show us symbols. Now, those symbols have to have meaning, but they have to be your meaning, not theirs. They don't give you a symbol that's their meaning. They give you a symbol that's yours. So don't think that you have to wait for them to drop a lightning bolt in the shape of a dove. Pick your symbols and signs, designate them, and allow them to show them to you. That's how this works. All right, great question. It ends with living simply. How do you get a symbol? Okay. All right, listen. You can designate anything you want to be a symbol, and you can let your guides and your family know on the other side, this from now on will represent you, or this will now from now on represent positive. I would suggest for most people to pick a symbol for them that means something positive and something negative. Like have two symbols. One's positive for you and one is a negative symbol. And start off with that. And now what happens? You see the symbol that represents positive and you go, okay, good, everything's fine. But it could be letting you know like something's coming up the pike that could be very positive for you. Pay attention to it and then wait for that to play out. Or vice versa, it could be the negative symbol that you see and say, okay, I got to keep my eyes peeled because something's coming up that's going to be negative for me or negative around me. And again, please don't go right to the worst scenarios. Go to the fact that you might get a phone call from somebody that day that you really don't like, that drives you nuts and pisses you off. That could be that negative thing that's coming up. So represent, or I should say, pick two symbols that could represent those things for you. It's very clear opposites, polar opposites, right? One positive, one negative. That's what I would start with. And then build on top of that. And different symbols can mean different things. There's no rules. That's the part I love. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want. Okay? But don't wait. So many people stand there just like, what are you doing? I'm waiting for a symbol. Symbol from what? My mom. I'm just waiting for it. Oh, okay. Well, when did your mom pass? A couple days ago. Okay, you could be standing there for a year before you actually recognize a symbol that your mom's coming through because you didn't designate something. Oh, no, no. Me and my mom, we picked a symbol before she passed. Okay, we could just put that right out the window because it doesn't mean it's going to happen. What people say and talk about while they're here is very different when they get to the other side. For example, I can imagine that a lot of you have had to deal with somebody who was passing that may have asked for something before they passed. Whether it's like, hey, promise me you're going to keep an eye on your brother. Okay, mom, I'll do it. Hey, promise me that you're going to take care of your grandfather. No problem, I'll take care of it. I promise. These are things that are asked of us before people pass. I know now that when somebody passes, you are no longer bound by those promises. You don't have to feel bad. They're not going to feel bad because they know that they asked for those things as a human because of their own fears and the things that they were worried about. But when they're on the other side, they're no longer fearful. They know that your brother will have his own lessons to learn. They know that he has his own destiny to figure out. They know that asking you to do that is really not fair at this moment. So if any of you are feeling like I promised my mom I would, or I promised my grandfather I would take care of his house, or I promised I would take care of the dog, whatever. If you can't do it, don't feel bad about it because it's not technically your issue. It's something that was put on you. And that doesn't mean you have to stick with it. It doesn't mean you have to stay there. It means you have to recognize like, okay, they asked me to do this. I said I would do it because I was appeasing the human side of things, the person that was living. They are now on the other side and they're probably with me right now and they understand that I can't handle this. So I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm going to do what's right by that person or that pet, but I'm not going to feel guilty about the fact that I can't honor what I promised I would do to a living person. If they were still alive, that's different. And even then I would say have an issue with it, but they're now on the other side. They don't hold that against you, okay? Now, that doesn't mean all of you start throwing your moms outside, right? Like, mom, you got to get out now. That's not what I'm saying here. I want to make sure, time out. I want to make sure that that's not what's happening. But again, just know that as long as you're doing something with love or the intent of positive or good around it, there is no wrong, okay? Yeah, right? Villain girl. They'll haunt you, but you'll be fine. James, so what is love or good? Love or good? What is love or good? Well, there's only two motivators in this world, love and fear. And they only exist here. The two of them only exist here. So on this planet, people are motivated by the either love, usually self-love, that's one of the biggest motivators, or they're motivated by the fear of the what if. Now, fear is a vital thing in this world. We needed it. Many, many, many years ago, it saved our lives when a saber-toothed tiger was coming after us, or or a woolly mammoth, and we were in the wrong place, and we're like, so fear can be something that's used to help us make the right choices as well. So I don't want to say fear is bad. You shouldn't have it. You need fear. Fear is a very important part of who we are. Animals have it. People have it. I always talk about amoebas. You remember amoebas from high school? Like the single cell. They have fear also. If you watch an amoeba in a telescope and all of a sudden it fears like something coming, like a virus, it'll go the other way, right? So everything has fear that lives in this world. When we get to the other side, fear goes away. So while we're here, we could pull off of love and fear, which means that's what gives us greed, pride, ego, vanity, sadness, happiness. Those are all the things that pull off of love and fear. On the other side, fear no longer exists. It is a human or earthbound trait. Is it a human or earthbound trait? When we pass, fear goes away. That means all those other things go away too. So when people ask me, is my mom mad at me? No, your mom can't be mad at you. She doesn't require that. She doesn't have that anymore. She can't hold on to that. Even if your mother was a miserable person in life, when she's on the other side, she's not miserable anymore. It's nothing you can hold on to. The only thing they have on the other side is actual love. That's it, guys. They have love. Love for themselves, love for you. It's high vibrational energy. Okay? So it's kind of cool. Somebody said, I know that from Nemo. Yeah, right? I'm glad you needed to hear that. That's my goal here. I really is my goal here. Oh, I almost got rid of somebody by accident. Okay, so Tracy rocks. I'm just wondering how you, quote unquote, see the spirit. Do you feel their presence? Do you see them like a vision, or what does it look like to you? Do you see like a ball of energy? I'm just trying to understand. Okay, I can explain this to you, and I'm gonna make it really simple. I don't see them. I don't see them. I'm not one of those people. You know, there's people like, oh, when did you get involved with this work? Well, when I was 12, I saw somebody floating out my second floor window, and there was nothing underneath them. So I was like, I'm like, I never had that. And then there's other people that talk about when they talk to spirit, they'll act like the spirit is talking to them. So when they're reading somebody, they'll go like, yeah, I understand, and then they'll talk like that. That's all drama. That's all drama. There's nobody standing next to them, okay? How we get our information are through mostly clairs. I know there's a couple of new ones that are out there, but I go with the basics. Clairvoyance, which is seeing. When we talk about seeing, they give us pictures. They give us symbolisms that we've applied things to. Remember I talked about this being like a symbol from now on. I'll see that in my head. I'll go, oh, that's my mom. That's how they'll do it. Okay, so they'll show us our own symbols. They'll also give us things that maybe the person we're reading has a connection with, but we don't. Like, why am I seeing, the Liberty Bell? And oh, I was just there last week. It's a validation that the person that was coming through was with them when they were there. Okay, so they'll give us things through that. Clairaudience is hearing, but we don't hear them. Remember, they don't have a voice box. They're no longer human. They're just a vibrational energy on the other side. So what are we actually hearing? The best way I could describe that is if you have your favorite movie, your favorite line from your favorite movie, okay? And occasionally you'll remember that movie. I mean, one of mine is Step Brothers, because me and my boys, we love Step Brothers, and we'll say stupid lines from that movie. But sometimes I'll be doing something on my own, and I'll hear a line from the movie from the character that said it, but it's in my head. That's clairaudience. That's how you'll get information. You'll hear a voice, but it's not a voice. It's a thought of a voice saying something. So you'll get it that way. Sometimes I get names that way. A lot of times I'll get names through clairvoyance, which is I see the name written out. When I don't see it written out, that means it's got to sound like the name I'm getting. So I did a post on TikTok not too long ago where I was getting Sadie. The name was Sadie. And the person that I was reading, and I got it through clairaudience. I didn't see it written. So I knew that I could be off with it. And she said, we don't have a Sadie. She said, could it be Sissy? Because I kept saying, I see the S and the Y at the end, like Sadie. And I said Sissy. I said Sissy. And she goes, well, Sissy's what I call my sister. Or I'm sorry, my daughter. I think it was her stepdaughter. They call her Sissy. I was like, okay, great. Now, we went down that road and everything laid out. It was fine. But as we went down into the reading, her dad came through, who's the person she wanted to talk to. And you could see this. It's on a post I did on TikTok. And her father comes through and talks about his dogs. He was talking about it. I think it was his boxers or something like that. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, I just realized my dad's boxer, one of them was named Sadie. So it came through in the way it needed to. So I saw Sadie first, then Sissy, because they knew she wasn't going to get Sadie right away. We were able to apply it to Sissy. And then she got back to Sadie because her dad came through with the dog. And that was how we did it. So it happens the way it needs to, okay? So we have clairvoyance, we have clairaudience, clairsentience, feelings and emotions. It's one of my favorite ones. So a feeling and an emotion, people say, well, how do you validate a feeling and an emotion? Because it's got to be accurate. It's not about, oh, your dad's making me feel like a happy guy. That's not clairsentience. Or, your mom's telling me she's very proud of everything you're doing. That's not clairsentience. That's emotional manipulation. That's drama. So getting information through a feeling and an emotion, clairsentience. Feeling what they're doing in the moment or what they're showing me. Sometimes they'll drop you into a situation, you'll see it happening, and you'll feel what you're feeling. Like, for example, if you're ever in your car and you hit the brakes, but the brakes aren't working. You get a feeling around that, like, right? Oh shit, right? Right? Your car's not stopping. We'll feel that. We'll feel exactly that thing. Like, oh, somebody was in a car and their brakes weren't stopping. Like I could feel it. That's clairsentience. That's getting like there's a story around that. Yes, last week I was in my car and the brakes wouldn't stop. And that's what happened. It's a feeling that comes through. All right. So think feelings and emotions. There's also clairalience, which is smelling. We can get things through smells. Like smoke is usually the best way they do it. If somebody smoked, they'll use that brand. Now that doesn't mean it's not there, but sometimes you're in situations where there's nobody around you and you're like, why am I smelling that smoke? Think about it this way. You smell it, it goes right to the brain. It's like, boom, it's right there. Okay, so they know it's not about, oh, I got to think about this, or all right. It's like an automatic kind of programmed thing where you smell that, you know it's your grandmother. You smell that, you know it's your grandfather. If she had a special sauce that she made or whatever, or cooking, boom, I smell that, boom, I know it's my grandmother. It's instant because you can relate to it, okay? So there's a lot of different ways to get information. But don't think they're all seeing people. They're not. And don't think they're actually having a conversation, please. For all you guys out there that are skeptics, I have no problem with. They're not having a conversation with them. That's not how this works. It happens through different pieces of information. If you're good at what you do, you could see, hear, and feel things all at once, be able to interpret what that is, and then translate it and then give it to the person that you're reading. And it's gonna sound like a conversation, but it's not an actual conversation. It takes work to get good at your ability and to use it in the right way. So when a medium's going like, your mom's telling me, John. Okay, why would mom have to say John in a reading to the person that's being the medium? Why would the mom coming through have to say that? She doesn't. What the medium should say is, your mom's telling me, boom, 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 boom. Your mom's telling me, boom, 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 boom. But they'll say like, oh, your mom's saying, hey, John, tell my daughter. Like, okay, do I have to be addressed every time I have to deliver a piece of information? Are they going to be talking to somebody else in the room that they have to say my name? No. So that's where I have issues with certain things, okay, around the mediumship. And again, if we were back 20 years or 25, 30 years, because there was no social media back then, it was very, very different. You can get a name and a date and everybody like, wow, that's amazing. But today, there's so much social media, there's so much information out there about people, we have to get the weird stuff. So when people say like, why are they showing you that? Why are they showing you this? Well, because there's a thing called Facebook, there's a thing called Instagram, and a thing called TikTok. And everybody has no problem putting all their shit out there. So when we get information, it has to be something that's not like obvious, that's not on there. So don't expect the big, obvious things all the time, because it's very easy now to get somebody's phone number and look them up, right? That's not how you do a reading anymore. It's not gonna work. I went way off on a tangent there, but I hope that helps. All right, here's what we're gonna do. It's 10:30 already. So, all right. I'm gonna answer this and then I'm gonna do a reading, okay? So Annalisa, I cannot read words that are like put together. I'm so bad at this. Annalisa Doherty, are you able to communicate with your loved ones who have passed anytime you want? Anytime I want, no. They would have to get my attention. I don't just like, hey, like sit around and go like, what are my grandfathers doing? It doesn't work like that. So they'll have to catch my attention. Like I might see a glimpse of my grandfather, I might see a glimpse of my grandmother or somebody else that I know that's passed and kind of go like, all right, what's going on here? And then I have to interpret what I'm seeing, hearing, and feeling. It's very, very difficult to connect with your own family because you know too much about them. So if I'm a factual reader, which I am, how am I going to get information that's factual from them if I already know how they passed? I know their name, I know their dates. What am I going to get from them that's factual? So I have to get it through clairsentience, which is feelings and emotions. So they're going to give me information, which I'm going to interpret through my own feelings and emotions. That's how you make the connection. The problem with that is most of us are very emotional people. Most of us. And feelings and emotions are what guide us through this world. And a lot of us make our decisions based on feelings and emotions. So it's almost like counterintuitive or counterproductive to have information come through a feeling and an emotion when we live our lives through feelings and emotions. And that's why most people will say, oh, I'm just thinking about my mom. She's not saying hi. Or, I was just imagining my dad waving at me. He's not really waving at me. That's just what I would like or I want. You have to distinguish between what you're actually feeling and what's a download. It's two different things. If you are looking at a photo album of your mom or your dad and then you thought about your mom or dad, I would say that is not a download. That is more about you reminiscing or having memories. If you're shoveling dirt, like I'm doing most of the time, you're shoveling dirt, you're not thinking about anything, all of a sudden, boom, your grandfather pops in your head. That's a download. That's them saying hello. So you have to distinguish between the two. That is number one, okay? So again, with your own family and friends, it's much more difficult to distinguish what is a connection and what is a memory or a thought. And that's the best way to do it. When they're not in your head, and then they are. That's usually a download. That's their way of saying hello. Just acknowledge it. Being like, hey, mom, that's all you got to do. Just acknowledge it, and then they'll start to create more of a link with you and more of a connection because you're acknowledging when they come through, okay? And then you can start, like I said, designating symbols and signs for them. All right, cool. Let's do this. Oh, okay, all right, hold on. So I don't know how to do this on here, so I'm just gonna say it. I have a Zoom group coming up in February. I have one this week on January 27th. I have space in the Zoom group still for February. I don't know how to talk about it on here, so I'm just gonna say it. I do, in my description, in my YouTube channel, I do have the link. It's a Stan Store link. I don't know how to access it though, and I don't know how to get to it. So if you got a pen and paper with you right now, just write down stan.store/psychic Jonathan Lewis. All right? JONATHAN, Lewis, LOUIS. If you click on that, it'll take you right to my kind of like my page of like where I have stuff. You'll see private readings. You'll see the Zoom groups. The January 27th, like I said, is sold out. You'll see the February 12th one. And then there's like the YouTube sign up, which hopefully you don't have to do that because you're here. And then there's also a newsletter sign up. Sign up for that as well. Okay, this way you get notified what's going on. I plan on going on live events in September. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going yet, but I will be hopefully in your town live. And I want to do a couple of live groups. Okay, I used to do those all the time. And then I stopped doing them because I got lazy. So I want to start them up again. If you guys are interested in finding out about those when they come out, go sign up for my newsletter. This way you can get notified when I'm in your area, okay? But again, real quick, if you want to be in the Zoom group, it's coming up February 12th. Just type in your browser, stan.store/psychic Jonathan Lewis. That'll take you right to where you need to go, and you can check it out, okay? That is my only advertisement for the night. Let's see. Oh, it's in my bio? Cool. Thanks, Rach. I did it with my son before. I'm like, how do people get in? He's like, I think you got to put it in your description. We were like sitting there going over it, and we're going like, I'm like, he's like, no, that's not it, Dad. I'm like, all right, well, can you figure it out for me? So he figured it out for me, he put it in there, and we weren't sure how to do it. But like she just said, it's in my it's in my bio, or my description. It's in my description, I think. All right, cool. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Let's do, yep, you guys are already doing it. So just write down who you want to connect with. Mom, dad, son, brother. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna pick somebody randomly. How are we gonna know it's you that I'm reading? I'm gonna say your name out loud. When I say your name out loud, I need you to respond back yes in capital letters, okay? Just write back yes in capital letters. That kind of signifies to your guides and mine that we're gonna make a link and a connection. I'm going to ask everybody else that's on here not to type, okay? Just watch or sleep, whatever it is that you do best at this time of night. But if you want to watch, you can. I have no problem with that, of course. But we're going to try to hopefully make a link for that person. And again, if somebody's mom's coming through and they can validate it, that means your mom's there too. That's the beauty of this. It's not like you know, if somebody's mom's there, yours isn't, or if my dog's there, mine, you know, that person's dog isn't. They're all there. They're all on the other side. Again, I like to do direct readings. So I'm going to pick somebody and just randomly pick them, and then I'm going to read them, okay? And hopefully it runs really smoothly, because that's what we're hoping for, okay? I see you guys are writing. I can't see without my glasses, so hold on a second. All right. Okay, I got it already. Dave's, what does that say? Dave's Shea 05 wrote Dad. Dave's Shea 05. I'm going to write down Dave's Shea 05 Dad, because I'm going to forget as soon as I say this. Now, if everybody else could stop typing, that'd be awesome. Just allow this hopefully unfold, and we'll see what happens, okay? Dave Shea, I just need you to write yes in capital letters. I already forgot who you want to connect with. Dad. Okay, so you just wrote yes. Okay, cool. That signifies that I'm ready to go. Now I'm going to open up to your energy. I'm going to ask Dad to come forward. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm going to get him. It just means I'm asking nicely because that's how I do it. But stay really open. It could be a grandmother first. It could be a grandfather first. It could be a sibling that's passed. I don't know. But just stay open who's coming through. Okay, hold on 1 second. And everybody else, if you could stop typing, that'd be great. Okay, the first thing I'm seeing, Dave. Who's the other Dave connected to you? Who's the other Dave? Hold on a second. Uh, hold on. Okay, Dave's Shay. They tell me. All right, 2 people have the same birthday around you. That's the first thing they're showing me, Dave. They're showing me 2 people having the same birthday connected to you. 2 people have the same exact birthday. And don't just write yes. I need to know those connections. Like if you know it's the connections, just write, oh yeah, that's my like uncle and mother or whatever. They're showing me 2 people having the same. Oh, well, that saved us time. You don't know. Okay, hold on. No, they're telling me connected to you, 2 people have the same birthday. It doesn't have to be family. It's just got to be your connection. Like, oh yeah, my mother and my sister-in-law have the same birthday. They show me like 2 people around you have the same birthday. Just give it a second and don't rush. I just want to make sure I get this right. Because at first I thought there was another Dave or like another name like yours. Like it's another name like yours. But they're showing me it's actually 2 people with the same birthday. No idea? Okay, hold on. Do you have a connection to the... Never mind. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, they're not dropping this. They're just not dropping this. So hold on a second. Are there twins in the family? Or connected to you? Twins? They're not dropping this. Like who would have been a twin in the family? They show me 2 people with the same birthday. And if you don't have the 2 people with the same birthday, I would have to take twins. And it doesn't have to be connected to Dad. It's got to make sense for you. It's kind of like my way in. And if you're married, not twins, but triplets. Okay. Okay. What side of the family are they on? I just need to know if they're showing me that. I need to know what side those are on. So that would be either mom's side or dad's side. And again, if we were talking, this would be very different, but we can't do that here. So I apologize. Triplets work for me. That's okay. This is people having the same birthday. It would be for you? Okay, so you had the triplets. All right. So then you have people with the same birthday. Okay. So if the first thing he's showing me is talk about people having the same birthday, that would be the triplets. Okay. Now, if he's also telling me to talk about, and who works in finance around you, Dave? He wants me to talk about somebody working in finance. That's okay if they're not living. It's okay. As long as it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. They just show me having the same birthdays. And he's telling me to talk about somebody working in finance or they work with money around you too. Like if somebody worked at a bank, I would take that. Or and because again, we're typing. Okay, the other thing for that could be is if you just moved money around. Like if he's telling me to talk, they show me a bank vault. I got to come up with another thing for this, but usually bank vault for me means somebody working in finance or money or somebody worked at a bank. If not, then there's a reference to you just moving money around. And I don't mean like $50. It would be like a feeling of like, I got to move this from here to here. It's like moving money around. Would that make sense for you? So my interpretation would be like moving a large sum of money. Okay, that's okay. Who would Jen be for you, Dave? Jen or Jan? J-N female. Living, by the way. Who would be like Jen or Jenny? And I'm only asking for this to validate what I'm feeling. My first ever girlfriend I dated for 6 years was Jen. Okay, that's all I needed. It's just that I'm gonna say to you then, either you're connected to somebody that worked at a bank at one point or worked in finance, or you just moved money around for something. Because that's the only way I can get that symbol. He's using Jen as the right. I asked him, just give me something connected to Dave. He said Jen. And Jen has twins? Okay. And who would have had the husky, Dave? If you wanted me to talk about something having a husky. It could be an Akita, a husky, but it's a large dog that the tail curls up. Nobody know? Okay, so think shepherd husky, possibly collie, but he's showing me more of like husky. It's feeling like the curl tailing up, and he's showing me the number 20. So I don't know if the 20th of a month has a meaning around the family or connected to you, but he's showing me the number 20. So it's either a birthday or an anniversary. If it's a passing, it could be that too. But he's showing me the number 20, and he's bringing up, and there's an Amy connected to you also. Let's stick with the 21st. Hey, Lily. My best friend's sister, 20 makes no sense. Okay, hold on. My best friend's sister, 20 makes no sense. Separate that. So what, your best friend's sister what? Is Amy. Okay, so best friend's sister is Amy. So put the 20 around that family. It could be connected to that family, or it could be connected to you, okay? But he showed me 20 having a meaning. Again, it could be a birthday, an anniversary, or somebody's current age, that it's like somebody around who's 20 years old right now. I could take that as well. He's also telling me to talk about, and who's Sean? Let's give me all these people around you. He wants me to highlight Sean connected to you. Or just tell me you're connected to Sean. No, Sean. I like your energy. I have no problem with you saying no. It's okay. It's cool. Just write down. They're telling me 20 has a meaning. So it's either, again, somebody's current age or something around that number has to have meaning for you. And I'm hearing Sean. Shan. I could take Shannon. I mean, it's a stretch for me, but I could take Shannon. But it's got the SH sound with the N in it. Shannon is another X. That's it. Okay, it's my error. I apologize. So he's giving me X's around you. And Dave, connected to you, what would be up in like Illinois, up in that area, Milwaukee? What would be up? What would be the connection for you up there? And this is how I started reading too. So Dave said he's bringing up all my X's. Yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll give me something and put like a category in around it. They'll give me the X's around you. But he's telling me to bring up a connection. Doesn't mean you lived up there, but you have like a connection up there. Either somebody you're connected to is up there. My aunt and uncle in Chicago. Okay, that's it. So he's telling me to, that's his way of referencing them. And he's also telling me to bring up, Dad had 2 issues before he passed. The way he's explaining it to me is like he was dealing with one thing and then passed from something else. So this would be like a yes or no thing from you if I said that Dad was dealing with more than one issue before he passed. He showed me 2 separate things he was dealing with, health-wise. Yes? Okay. He's also telling me to bring up, Dave, don't take this the wrong way because it's not meant as a negative thing. Are you the one that used to fib a lot when you were younger? If Dad said that you were the one that fibbed a lot, the reason why he's bringing it up is because now you're like the opposite of that, or you make sure you don't fib about stuff. Like you're very adamant about not fibbing. But when you were younger, he's making you feel like you would fib about stuff or make something sound different than it is. Don't answer that yet. Don't answer that yet. He's also telling me that you have a unique ability to make things okay. So the reason why you would make things sound different than they were is because you wanted things to be okay. So he's telling me that you would kind of stretch the truth a little bit in a way where it'd be more acceptable for people. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. But he's making me feel like you've changed all that. You've changed that. You kind of look at that now and go like, no, I'm going to say what it is. No, I'm not going to make that sound better. No, I'm not going to just do this because that's what it's like you've changed how you do things, and he's giving me like this around it. Like you've managed to kind of like live in the truth because you know that's what's best for you. Make sense? 100%. Okay, cool. Dave, do you know if anybody had an issue with their spoon in their throat? If Dad wants me to talk about somebody having an issue with their spoon, I don't know if it's a current event or somebody was just complaining about it, but they're making me feel like, I don't know what you call that thing either, but he's telling me like the spoon in the mouth. It's a feeling like somebody was just dealing with this, or it was around you. It's around you. Hold on, it's around you. What were you just doing? Something around the throat, back of the throat, giving you an issue. Not a big deal, but he's making me feel like it was just current or recent around you. Something around your throat, upper throat, that was giving you an issue. It's like in your energy. I feel it around your energy. Dentist? Okay, how long ago was that? I just need to know time frame because that'll tell me if I'm in the right spot. If you cannot type, guys, that'd be great, except for the 6 months. 6 months ago? No, that's way too far. So this feels like more recent. Something around throat, upper throat though, not lower throat, like upper throat or the back of the spoon. Like somebody was just complaining about that area. Somebody was just talking about it. Remember I'm saying that, he's bringing it up. It might not have happened yet. It feels like it did, but sometimes I could be off with the timing and it'll come up tomorrow or the next day where somebody will go like, yeah, the top of my throat's giving me a problem. You're like, oh, my dad was just talking about that. Hold on. And Dave, you're sure nobody had like a husky? If it's not a husky, Dave, what's the dog that had the tail that went up and curled around? He showed me like a dog with a tail that goes up and curls around. Like a husky or a Malamute for me, that would be an Akita. And dogs roam free for me. So it could be a friend's dog that just passed or somebody that you were connected to that had that passed. A puggle? Oh, damn it. Of all the dogs, you had to pick a puggle. Yeah, chow would work for me. It's not a puggle. Just remember I'm saying it. It's kind of big. It's got husky feeling to it, okay? But he's making it feel like he's got that dog with him. It's either connect to your family or it could be wife's family if you're if you're married, or but he's showing me connected to you, husky. And Dave, are you? It's okay. Just remember I'm saying it. Are you also? Dad's telling me around you somebody's contemplating like wanting to add on to their house. They want to add on to their house, but they can't. It's almost like it comes up all the time, and then it's talked about, but we don't do it. It's like we wanted to add on, but we're not doing it. We wanted to add on here, but we're not doing it. It's like a feeling of like on and off, on and off, on and off around adding on to the house. I don't know if he's giving me something that already happened. Your sister? Okay, that's his way of saying hello to your sister. And where's, and who's the teacher connected to your sister? Connected to your sister, who would be the teacher or the person that works in a school? Because I don't want to just take it because you said your sister is talking about adding on to the house all the time but never does it. I want him to double down on it. He's telling me to talk about around your sister, her being connected to like a teacher or somebody that works in a school. And if that's you, that's fine. But just show me that. My best friend, but not connected to my sister. Hold on. Is Kevin also connected to you? He just wrote my best friend, but they're not connected to my sister. I get that, but you guys are kind of connected together. So hold on. Who's Kevin or Kenny? And it's not. If it's not those, it's definitely a K name. My old neighbor growing up. Okay. They didn't have a husky by any chance, did they? Kelly's your sister. That's it. Okay. You just show me the K name. That's your sister. And I want one more thing. 27, Dave. He's telling me 27th has a meaning and you'll know it. This is where you're right. I have no clue what the 27th is, but that's okay. He's telling me 27 has a meaning. The number 27, birthday or an anniversary on the 27th. My birthday this month. Is your birthday on the 27th? I understand what you're writing right now. Yes, it is. Okay, that's what I needed. All right, Dave. Just know that's your dad's way of coming through to say hello, okay? He's like, talk about the 27th. He'll know this one. So that means for me, in a funny way, remember we talked about the 20th having a meaning somewhere. There could be a friend's birthday or an uncle's passing. It's going to have meaning. Just remember I'm saying it, okay, Fred? I hope this helped a little bit. And I appreciate your energy. Thank you. See? Okay, cool. I'm going to disconnect from Dave. So guys, real quick, it doesn't matter if somebody says no. I'm okay with that. If somebody has an issue with, what's being said, I'm okay with it. There's no cynicism there, none whatsoever. So if I don't feel cynicism, it's all good. We can keep things moving, all right? So it's important. I appreciate Dave's energy, and I liked it when he wrote no. I don't have that. It's totally cool. Just promise me you'll remember I said it, okay? All right, cool. Let's do a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna. Rage. Dave wrote down the stuff. Yeah, hope so. And you know what, too? It's like doing it on here. It's definitely a little more difficult. That's for sure. Doing it in comment section because you can't kind of elaborate in any way. Because sometimes elaboration kind of leads into other things, but mostly the responses are yes, no, I have that, Jen. It's like that kind of thing. But we'll get there. Yeah, you know what, Tracy, thank you for saying that. Dave, happy birthday. You know, I should have said that. I apologize. I was too into the reading, but his birthday's in a couple of days, so that's kind of cool. All right. Okay, so Lori just asked a great question. How come you do not allow for your clients to record their readings? I'm going to tell you why, Lori. Whether it's a mediumship reading or a psychic reading, it is very important for the sitter to be present when I'm doing the reading. Why? Because there's certain things that come up that are not that important that they can validate, but it leads us into what we need to talk about, which is the thing they need to remember. So a lot of times when we're doing a reading and people are taking notes, I talk very fast when I'm doing a reading, and you're gonna write down the things that strike you, the things that hit home, the things where you're going like, I gotta remember that. A lot of the other stuff is filler. And when I mean filler, it means it's being used to get me to where I need to go. So they'll give me information and facts around things. The problem with that is if it's on a recording, people will sit and listen to it. Now, it doesn't have to be a mediumship reading, especially in psychic readings. We want you to walk away with the things that are going to be important for you. You'll remember what those things are because your guides and your family will kind of go like, hey, remember he said that? Hey, remember this came up? And that's how you remember it. Too many people take their readings, if it's recorded, and they kind of treat it as gospel. And that's not good. It's like every single word, they'll hang on every single word that was said. And sometimes that's not healthy. So our goal is for you to kind of walk away with what's important, what you remember in the moment, and then let them remind you of stuff as it comes up. If you're constantly constantly looking at a recording, if you're constantly listening to a recording, then you're just getting the programming of the recording. You're not kind of experiencing what it is. So I've learned that, especially from my guides, what you need to remember, you'll write down. Those are the things you're going to write down, or the things that didn't make sense, which is even more important because then you can cross them off as they happen. But the recording kind of gets in the way of the reading sometimes. It kind of gets people in a place of going like, I'll just listen to it later. I don't have to worry about it. No, we're present in the moment. Okay, so it kind of lifts the energy in the moment. You got to be there. You can't just go like, can I just record this and like kind of let this happen? We need your energy in the right place to do the reading too. And again, I'm only saying that doesn't mean you would do that. It just means over the years, that's what I've experienced from people. And that's why at this point, my guides are like, no more recordings. So I hope that answered your question. All right, guys. It was a pleasure being on here tonight. I appreciate you being here. I will be on here again soon, okay? And if TikTok gets their crap together, I'll be on there as well. But I enjoyed being on here, and I appreciate you guys being here tonight. So I'm going to say thank you again, and I will see you guys soon, okay? Have a great night. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great week. Stay dry, stay warm, stay out of trouble. Okay, Dave?